Peace. This is Wise for Wise Words Media back at y'all for another round. And today, on this Top 5 Tuesday, in commemoration of what this August 2023 has been, it's been a celebration of hip-hop music. So I will drop on this Top 5 Tuesday my top 5 rappers of all time. So, set things off at number 5. I'm gonna go with a man that has been immensely influential. He fathered many styles, and there's so many branches that grew off his tree, and that's none other than the great Kool G Rap at number 5. When you hear the name G-Rap, I mean, you got guys like Jay-Z mentioning him in his rhymes. Hearing me rap is like hearing G rap in his prime. Then you have guys like Big Pun. When Big Pun first met Kool G Rap, the story goes that Big Pun got on one knee and kissed the rings out of honor, out of respect, because he wanted to show Kool G Rap, he wanted to give him his flowers, he wanted to let him know there would be no me, no Big Pun without you and your influence. We're talking about Kool G Rap, a guy that Nas, before he was signed, guys like Large Professor was trying to help him get a record deal. They took his tape, his demo tape, to Russell Simmons at Def Jam, and Russell said, I can't sign him. He sounds too much like Kool G Rap. So that right there, in and of itself, tells you the type of influence that Kool G Rap had. I mean, Kool G Rap fathered the gangster rap. He's one of the forefathers of the gangster rap. You're talking about him and Ice-T, you know, but on the East Coast, it was definitely G-Rap, you know, and G-Rap had an amazing ability of wordplay. Like, he gave you the multi-syllable, like on my job, I love to join with him and M.O.P. on M.O.P.'s second album, Firing Squad, where he said, hey yo, I represent Queens and crime scenes with murder machines, but got M16s and spleens, so head for the hills. These good one up, his blood slip for real. Yo, like his multi-syllable, the champagne wishes and caviar dreams of feet to getting cream. Like his wordplay is what gave birth to your Big Puns, your AZs, your Eminems. They all have at some point giving G-Rap his flowers, because they know without G-Rap there would be no them. So G-Rap, even when you look at the 456 album, which is my favorite Kool G Rap album, he dropped that when he was already 10 years in the game. Like, you want to talk about somebody that's like fine wine, gets better with time. That's Kool G Rap, man. Even to this day, G-Rap could get on a track with anybody. And I don't even listen to that drill stuff, but he could even get on one of them drill tracks and murder it. That's G-Rap. So G-Rap at number 5. At number 4, I gotta go with another brother that was influenced and comes from the tree of Kool G Rap, and that is my main man, Half a Mill. Half a Mill, man, is a brother that came from Crown Heights, Brooklyn, and this brother, when you want to talk about, yes, the multi-syllable like G-Rap, yes, the crime element in his rhymes like G-Rap, but one thing about him was that brother could talk about that plush living, that plush life. You know, the brother he was a 5%er, so he would speak knowledge and wisdom on his tracks. So Half a Mill was one of the dopest MCs in his time. You know, even Capone from Capone Noriega on the Obituary track said, man, he said, $500,000, he made me write harder. That's word to the Father. Even Capone said $500,000, and we all know Capone is nasty as hell, but he said even $500,000 made him write harder, because $500,000 was just a beast like that, man. I remember the first time I heard $500,000 was on AZ's second album, the Pieces of a Man, and he was on the snippet right before Love Is Love, a song with that featured $500,000 and Nature. So before that song comes on, you hear doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo, have Kaja Sosa intentions, gliding in the Hummer with the flying saucer engine, willied out in my crib in the winter having cookouts, smack my whiz, look out, woo! Oh my, they mad because they hop out of cab and hop on the bus, cop a Dutch, firm click rock, the whole metropolis. Woo! Nah, man, not many were doing it like my man Half, baby. Half was a monster, man. He's one of the only dudes I ever heard outspit AZ on numerous tracks. And hey, we talking about the same AZ that outspit Nas on Life's you know what I mean? On Nas's debut, Flawless album. But AZ, many say, have the hardest verse on that song. So, Half, man, that's a dude right there that, you know, I remember hearing that snippet and I kept rewinding it. I'm like, damn, son, who is this dude? Then I find out that's $500,000. That's ends up being the same dude that was on the Firm Biz remix. And again, the Firm Biz remix is better than the Firm Biz original song. So when I heard him, I'm like, yo, that's that dude. And I said, you know what? I need his album. Copped the album and was immensely hyped when I heard doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo. And then when the song continued past the snippet part, I went crazy. Yo, I went so crazy, it felt like the Knicks won a championship. Like, I was going wild in the crib, man. Like, yo, I got the whole song. I played it like 10 times in a row. My son used to say things like, I was a little ghetto kid reading out the book of Matthews. Now to get to my crib, you gotta drive a lot of miles. Drive past a lot of deers, rabbits, a lot of cows. We even got about as much or even more than the Rothschilds. That's how ahead of his time $500,000 was. He spit that before 9/11, and when, you know, around like 2002, that's when conspiracy theories and such started getting popular and people started becoming familiar with names like Rothschilds. He spit that before 9/11. So we talking about a brother that was ahead of his time, unfortunately, gone way too soon. He transitioned out the physical realm way too soon. So $500,000, nothing but love, peace, and that's number 4 on my list. Number three is a worthy GOAT candidate. He is widely regarded the GOAT by many. And it's none other than the God, man. Just one word right there, the God. Rakim. That's it, man. It's him. No, Rakim, when you talk about an influence, not only like the vocal tone, like the monotone, like not only the voice, not only the style, you know, the jewelry, the truck jewelry and such, but you talking about the knowledge itself. Rakim being a 5%er, teaching, using his music as a vehicle to teach, and that lit a wildfire throughout the throughout all of New York City and beyond, where young brothers and sisters were becoming 5%ers, learning about themselves and their history and their origins in this world by way of the music that Rakim delivered. You know, I mean, I remember Rakim was one of them dudes, man, that like I was too young. You know, I was probably like five-ish, six-ish when I started hearing the name all the time. Rakim Kane. Their names were connected, man, but I know once I got a little older, that's when he dropped a couple joints that I just gravitated to. You had he had Don't Sweat the Technique, which to this day is one of my favorite songs ever. That doom 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 doom. That is one of the hardest bass lines ever. And what he goes on to do and just masterfully murders that track. So yeah, man, the God Rakim definitely had an impact. In fact, another joint that I was just a huge fan of was Know the Ledge, which was off the soundtrack of Juice. So I remember hearing that, I was like, yo, that beat was so crazy, and the way that Rakim was, man, his execution was crazy on that joint. Rakim, I love that joint so much, that Know the Ledge joint, that I had one time, like multiple times, during the time that song, the video was on BET, I faked stomach aches to go home early to make sure I could watch BET the whole thing so I could catch that video. I did it at least a few times. So yeah, that's how much I loved that joint, man. I was like 8 years old, fronting like I was like 7 probably, fronting like I had a stomach ache. But I was like, yo, I just want to go home and make sure I don't miss that video. So I did it like once a week for like a month. But yeah, man, that's the type of impact, man. Rakim had some of the most mind-blowing lyrics, man. He said, when he took us to the trip through the universe on Follow the Leader, and he said, travel around at magnificent speeds around the universe. As the world gets further and further away, planets as small as balls of clay. Said, world's out of sight. As far as the eyes can see, not even a satellite. And as you turn around and look, you stare into darkness. Your knowledge gets took. That is probably the heaviest, greatest line in hip-hop history. I mean, so yeah, that's from Follow the Leader. So yeah, man, Rakim, you talking about aura, man, that's the God, man. Number 3. Number 2, and those of y'all out there that know me personally, y'all know the 2 that's coming up. Number 2, well, it's the P.E. double, push your legs, bubble in the winter. You can't come along, only the can enter. Tell them meet me at 6 on the hill by the center. Woo! My man Prodigy, man. Prodigy and the HAVOC from the QBC. Oh, man. Prodigy was one of the greatest rappers to ever grace a microphone. I mean, from the moment he stepped on the scene, and I'm not talking about the Juvenile Hell days, because they were young, man. They were in high school. So they were learning the business. They were growing in the business. So we mob fans, all of us mob fans, we know that was preseason, right? That was preseason. That was the practice. We know from the infamous on was the regular season, and these men went on to win championships. A 3-peat. 3 classic albums in a row. How do you drop 3 5 mic albums in a row? I want to know if anybody can name me a group that has done that, or anybody that's a 3 MVP, 3 championships in a row. Infamous, Hell on Earth, Murder Music. You can't name a group that's done that, or a rapper that's done that. 3 like 5 mic albums in a row. Unheard of. Unheard of. Not even the greats. So P, man, when he burst on the scene with 4 lows who want to profile and pose, rock you in your face, stab your brain with your nose bone. Woo! Yo, I remember my cousin, man. Peace, my man Mike, man, my cousin Mike. I remember in Flatbush. I remember he was the one that put me on the Mobb Deep, because there was one night, this brother, man, oh my goodness, when I don't know if it was the single or the album. It had to be the single, because he kept playing Survival of the Fittest all night long. But it was like 3 songs on it. But all I know, I just kept hearing Survival of the Fittest all night. I learned the verses just off that one night. I learned like half the song. Cause I'm like, yo, this brother keep playing this all night, and it's fire, but I want to go to sleep because it was like 12 at night. It was like midnight. And I'm like, damn, son, yo, this is tough. This is hard. I like it. Okay, just let's learn the rest of it in the morning. And he just kept playing it over and over, no regard. But yeah, P, man, P style was so ill, man. Wordplay, lyrical content. Another brother that was coming off the tree of Rakim with the knowledge, and the tree of Kool G Rap with the criminal element to his music. And that gave birth to one of the illest rappers to ever do it, and that's Prodigy, man. Prodigy, another brother that, you know, untimely demise. But man, P, you want to talk about some of the hardest verses. And this is another video I'm gonna come up with another day. This is a topic that I talk about a lot, quite often. I'm gonna do it on the Talk About Tuesday. So if rap was a game, I'd be MVP. That was a Big L line. So I always use that line, right? That's the metric for me, like who is the best rapper that year. Like if rap was a game, who was the MVP each year? Who was the best rapper each year, each season? And from that 95 to 96 season, the year 1995, from 95 to 96, there was no better rapper on this planet than Prodigy. Period. Period. P was killing everything. The infamous Hell on Earth, and countless features. Countless features. So yeah, man, P number 2, but number 1, NAS saw the letters that spell Nas. Man, Nas, the GOAT, man, the greatest. You see, hip-hop has its foundation, 50 years, right? And it's like a pyramid. You got the base, and we're going from the base, from the 70s, the 80s. We reached that pinnacle, that highest point of hip-hop in the 90s, man. 90s was the greatest era in hip-hop. And the man who was the greatest in that era should rightfully be so called the king, and that is none other than Nas, man. Nobody was better than Nas. Nobody did it like Nas. You know what it is to come out with your first album? First of all, Illmatic dropped when Nas was like 19. So you gotta think, he's been writing this stuff for years. These thoughts are coming from a 17-year-old. Like songs like It's Yours, you know, songs like New York State of Mind. Like, this is coming from a 17-year-old's mind. People that twice his age couldn't formulate words and vivid concepts the way that he did on those 9 songs. It from that moment forward, he became the king of hip-hop overnight. just with that debut. How do you debut with Illmatic? How is that your first album? I mean, like I said in my previous hip-hop video, that's the first, like, he was the dude that made me say, yo, you know what, this hip-hop thing's for life. I'm hip-hop forever because of him. Because when I heard It Ain't Hard to Tell, man, that joint was life-changing, man. I was like, yo, who is this dude? Killing it, smooth killing it. Then, Whose World Is This? It's Yours was just, man, the black and white video. He was ahead of his time, man. Ahead of his time. He's the greatest to ever do it, man. Then the follow-up album, it was written went above a lot of people's heads, man, because people wanted to hear street Nas still. But he can't give you street Nas like he did in the first album because he's not living that lifestyle no more. But he was still giving you stories like Shootouts. Crazy concept. He was still giving you bangers like the aforementioned Live the Rap that featured Prodigy and Havoc from Mobb Deep. He gave you the banger, the summer anthem, which was the Firm joint, where he introduced the Firm on the album. Yo, one of the realest, if not the most realest line in hip-hop history. The realest line that I ever heard, and to this day rings true, is on the song The Message, when Nas said, "'Cause a love changes, and thug changes, and best friends become strangers." Word up. Man, no truer words have been spoken in the history of hip-hop ever. Talk about that, man, that is a line that will echo through the eons of times, man, because that is as real as it gets. Then you got songs where he personified the gun. I Gave You Power. Woof, man. Like, nah, man. Nas is the greatest rapper to ever do it. You know, he took on a giant in Jay-Z and slayed the giant, man. Slayed them. Like, come on, man. This is the greatest rapper of all time, man. Hands down. Your favorite rapper's favorite rapper. And that is my list. My top 5 for this Top 5 Tuesday. Top 5, my personal top 5 favorite rappers of all time. At number 5, Kool G Rap. At number 4, Half a Mil. Number 3, Rakim. Number 2, Prodigy. Number 1, Nas. So, drop some bars in the comment section, man. Let me know what's your top 5. And let's build. I'm Waz for Waz Words Media. Peace.